Hi everyone, welcome back and happy hump day. Yo, somebody said it's gonna be like in the upper 90s today. I'm like, whew, I wouldn't know because I haven't even left my place. I've been in here soaking up this cool AC. So I wouldn't know, but I may step outside today and see what all this hype is about, all the heat is about, get some nice suntan. Feel the rays from the sun kissing my skin. It feels so good to just soak up the sun. But yes, I want to come to you guys to talk to you about, I think, this issue that has been prevailing the black community. It just has been, I feel like we talk about it, but nothing is done about it, right? Like we raise consciousness about this issue, but yet and still people still remain the same. So I want to give you guys this one scenario, this one encounter that I had recently, right? From this conversation I had with this guy on a dating site. A lot of conversations on dating site, you guys, but it is what it is. And so I was talking to this guy, this black man, of course, because that's my only preference anyway. I'm not interested in dating white men, despite the freaking inbox messages I keep receiving from a lot of white men. Like, ow, I'll be your slave. I'm not interested, first of all, in a submissive man. I'm not interested in a white man. Save yourself. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. So yeah, I was talking to this black man. He's attractive. Like, I attract good looking black men. No surprise, right? And we were vibing, we were, chilling, exchanging information, getting to know each other. He's kind of philosophical, and I like that because I like a man who thinks, because I'm a thinker. So we connected on that level, right? But he told me that, okay, he has like, he works for the city. No, not for the city, but he works for like a major company in New York City, right? Not gonna disclose which one, is irrelevant. But on the side, he does own a retail store, online retail store, where he sells like Afrocentric clothing, accessories, mainly for women. I think it's a great idea, right? And to that, I said to him, you know what? I like that. I like that because you're promoting, you're promoting black women. You're promoting, supporting black women, uplifting black women. I'm all about that. I'm all about both, right? Not just black women, but, we're special, right? Like, we're the givers of life. Some people like to say, oh, we're just the portals of life. We're the portal through which life comes through, but we're the creation. We're the creators of life. And so I told him, like, I like that. I like that what you're doing. It's beautiful. I wanted to check out his website. He was a bit reluctant because he was trying to act all shy, like, oh, it's not ready yet. Da, da, da. I'm like, let me see the freaking website. So he showed it to me, and I was like, I give him his props. I was like, I give props to where props is due. I love to support up and coming black businesses. Like, I will buy something from your site. Like, I will support you, right? And so I guess he remembered, like, something, I guess it stuck to him what I said about, I just have much love and respect for black women. Like, it stuck to him, and I guess he was feeling a certain kind of way. And it's just like, first of all, the conversation led with you saying that this is your side hustle, which is catered towards black women, and you explain why, and I was just like co-signing, right? But I think it bothered him, and he came back around to it, and he was like, oh, so I remember earlier you said that you have much love and respect for black women. Do you love and respect black men? What kind of question is that? Of course I love and respect black men. But being a black woman myself, it's obvious, like, I'm biased. No duh. There's nothing wrong with having a bias, yo. I'm like, of course I have a bias towards black women. I'm a black woman. That's just like being black. And you got white people like, oh, well, why do you promote black? Or what? Because I'm black, motherfucker. Because I'm black. Why you want to help black people? Why you want to give back to the black community? Because I'm black. Like, so that's a bias, right? That's a racial bias that black people have in favor of their own races. Nothing wrong with that. Likewise, like, yeah, it can be like a sex-related bias for me to say, yes, I like black women, and I kind of, like, I build up black women. I talk about that a lot, and you'll see in my conversation, sometimes, yeah, I do take the side of black women. I'm a black woman. So he goes, oh, well, do you see that is that kind of thinking, that perspective could be off? You know, that was in our conversation right there. It was the end of the conversation because I'm like, you just don't get it. You don't, like, why argue with that? First of all, as a man, why argue with a black woman, right? Like, respect the divine feminine, respect my perspective, and just let that shit be. Why try to go back and forth? You're not gonna get anywhere. I can't respect. I say no, this is what it is. Because he asked me, his question was, oh, do you love the black man like you like the black woman? I said, of course I have a bias. But yes, I do. To answer your question, I do love black men. I say, I love and respect black men who take responsibility, who don't make excuses. So we're talking about respect and love. To be honest, yes, I have I uphold, I respect, and I uplift black women. But at the same time, for black men, I hold the black man to a higher standard, expectation, because he is the head of the household. He should be the head of the household. And this question was built upon the conversation that we were having, because he is a father of 2 children. He thought I was hyper feminist. Well, that's his own perspective. Like, feminism is a totally different, that's off on a tangent. That has nothing to do with this. But if he got that flavor, which maybe some men may get that flavor, and that's on you. That's on you, but that's a misperception of the black woman. We can have love and respect and appreciation for ourselves, but like I said, yeah, I may hold black men to a higher standard, and I expect more, right? So when it comes to relationships and responsibility, everybody is equally responsible, but it's just something about the black man who is expected to be the head of the household. So we were talking about like his past relationship, because I kind of put men through the ringer for my own safety, my own protection, like rightfully so, when I am trying to decide if I should even pursue even talking to you. This is before we even exchange contact information. So all of this conversation here was had on the app, on the dating app. Like, we didn't even exchange any contact information except for he gave me his website. And I'm just like, I need to know, like, first of all, who are you? And you have 2 kids, one of which he says is not his. He's just like the father to that child, like the stepfather, so to speak. I'm just like, that to me don't make any sense. I mean, I get it. Like, if you want to look at it from a community perspective, whatever, right? But what? I don't know. It's just, to me, it's interesting when men be like, oh, I'm taking on the responsibility of taking care of this child that's not mine, but I'm really, really good friends with the child's mother. We go way back, and you know, we're not intimate with each other. You know, I'm just like taking care of this child. The child is a teenager, and then he has a biological child of his own that he says he provides for, right? I'm like, okay. I mean, I wasn't too thrown off, because like I already said before, at my age, it's no surprise that a lot of men have children, but there are a good number of men who do not have children, right? So it's not just say all men at my age, you know, have children. So I'm like, okay, I'll consider it. It depends on a number of factors, right? He lives alone, has his own place, lives in Harlem. I'm just like, okay. You know, like, he is self-sufficient. He takes care of himself. I like that, right? But for me, it's concerning to me when men have kids, though. I can't just like glaze over that. A lot of women do, but I'm a different kind of woman. I don't glaze over the fact that, okay, a man has kids. No, I need to know. I need to know, like, what's that situation look like and why you didn't marry. Why? But he was married though, so that's the thing. Okay, so what led up to the divorce? Like, we gotta know, because a lot of time people do not address their own issues. You ask them, okay, what went wrong in your previous relationship? They'll give you a whole shit list of reasons what was wrong with the other person, but they don't know much about themselves. And I need to, like, I think that's something that needs to be addressed. Maybe that's just psychologist side in me. And he even said, oh, I'm not here to be psychoanalyzed. No, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you. I'm trying to read your ass out. I'm trying to make sure, like, I know who you are, your motivations, and if it's even worth my time before I continue to go forward, because I'm not trying to analyze you. I'm not trying to do therapy on you. No, you gotta go get how much therapy costs. You can't win, brothers, arguing with a black woman. No, because we got all kind of tricks up in our sleeve, right? So it's just like, I need to know for myself. And I feel like the man should do the same thing. It go both ways, and not just that, oh, a woman got to put a man up on a stand, you know what I'm saying, and interrogate him and cross-examine him. Like, it can go both ways. Right? But it's like, once you get past that step, though, it's almost like an initiation process of joining a gang, right? Because we live in a crazy society. Now, if we lived in an ideal world where everyone was perfect, everything was perfect, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now, right? But we don't live in an ideal world, right? So, yes, shit happens. There's some fucked up people out there. And it should go both ways. And it's like, once you pass that initiation phase, right, of a person kind of questioning you or your intentions and kind of guard it a little bit. Everyone has their own way of making a person kind of like prove themselves in the beginning. But it's like, okay, once you pass that stage, it's like, okay, you in, you good. Like, you wanted me, we down, we here. We don't have to go through that anymore, right? So sometimes people don't get it, and it's like, I don't mind going through that with a guy. We do that to each other. We can do that to each other. But and then once we get checked off on that list, it's like, all right, then you good people, right? So some men, I think, find that process very unnerving, like it's uncomfortable for them. They don't know how to respond well. It's like, it's difficult for them because some of their shit starts to get surfaced, and especially if you're talking to me, yo. Like, all your shit, all your skeletons is gonna get brought up. Like, the things that you felt like, all right, I'm done. That was in the past. I left her in the past, so that's in the past. But really, no, you tried to leave your own shit in the past. Because people leave relationships thinking, okay, I'm going to leave this person. I'm going to put that in the past. But you're going to try to pursue a new relationship with somebody else. And that shit going to come into your future. And I brought this up. That's my perspective. People be bringing old shit from old relationships because it's within them. They attribute the reasons why the relationship did not work to the other person when really it's a combination of factors on both sides. And that needs to be addressed. I can do it for myself because I'm very self-aware of who I am, the shit I bring, both good and bad, to a relationship. I can talk about that. I've been to therapy. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of people, other people like I come across, they haven't, right? And so I'm willing to have that conversation and us getting to know each other to see, okay, are we even compatible? Because we don't want to waste each other's time. And when the shit starts to hit the fan and I start to uncover some of that stuff, yeah, it's just like, okay, I get it, right? You feeling triggered, like, yo, and he was leaving like voice messages, because on the dating app you can like record like a voice message, and yo, this motherfucker was firing left and right with those voice messages, and I'm just like, I can see like he's getting upset because, okay, I'm on his street. I'm walking down a very sensitive area, and it's revealing a lot how you respond. And he took it like, oh, well, you making assumptions. I was like, give me a chance, please. Don't judge me. I'm not here to judge you, though. That's one thing you have to realize about me. Listen, I work with people. Anybody, especially therapists, yo, we are the most understanding people, but you just got to be real with that shit, though. Yo, if you come forward and you honest and you transparent about your shortcomings, your insecurities, your mishaps and shit like that, a real woman gonna bounce back and she gonna reflect to you what you've shown to her. And we can process this shit together. We can heal together. We can build together. That's what I'm about. And that's what I was trying to communicate to him. But when you get triggered and you still dealing with the shit that you felt, oh, I'm leaving that in the past, I'm leaving her, but really it's you and you still bringing that shit to the present, you ain't dealt with it. I'm just saying though. And I'm gonna nip that shit in the bud from day one. This all happened the same day that we met over the app. Not face to face. We never met face to face, but and we had that exchange over the app. Like, yo, I'm quick with that shit because I don't believe in wasting time. And I hope that exchange taught him something about himself, though, right? So going back to this whole question that he had about, oh, like, do you care? Do you love and respect black men? It's just like, yes, I do. But yes, I have this thing where, okay, as a man, yo, be a man. A lot of men don't understand what that means. Yo, just be a man. Handle your responsibility. In their mind, society unfortunately has taught men, black men especially, that their only obligation is to the child. It's like, all right, I take care of my children. I'm like, but what about the mother? Like, you're not making any sense, because as a conscious woman myself, as a thinking woman who has a mind, a brain, and I use that shit, right? In my good conscience, I cannot enter a relationship with a guy and he has kids, and I just be like, all right, well, that was her and that was you, that was y'all, right? No, because I know that patterns repeat themselves. History repeat themselves, yo. And I'm no different than her when you think about it. I'm different in many ways, but I'm really no different, because we all have been socialized by the same fucked up ass society, right? So we need to talk about what the hell led to that divorce, where you and her have this 6-year-old child that now you're co-parenting. A lot of people try to big up, oh, co-parenting, it can be a good thing, it's great, da 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 da. Okay, but if I have a value, right, of marriage, till death do us part, that's just my perspective. Yo, I'm single for a reason, because a lot of guys have come across me. I've come across a lot of guys, but I don't take marriage lightly, yo. I don't take relationships lightly. I don't play. People like to play around, and they enter relationships. They'll date. They'll be with somebody. They say I love you. Shit comes up, and then they leave. Right? They escape. They can't deal with it. It's too much. And like the way he tried to describe it is like, oh, well, when there is poison in a relationship, when we start talking like that, like poison, and I want to get an idea, okay, where is the poison coming from? Because he basically tried to explain his separation from his ex-wife as, okay, it was poison. It reached a point of poison. The poison kills, and I can't sustain a relationship where there is poison. But for me, like I said, I'm a thinker. We're both thinkers, right? So you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to use your brain. You gotta be on when you're interacting with me. And so I'm like, okay, but there's poison in everywhere, in every facet of your life, right? There's poison in our society. There's poison in the culture of our society, but we still partake in that. There's poison in your job. You work poisonous job every single day. But you don't say, oh, it's poison, so I got to get out. So why is it that when poison, so to speak, surfaces in a relationship, you want out? Why aren't black men willing to, and women, willing to work together? Whatever you want to call it. I call it generational curses. He said, oh, it's poison. He was like, oh, well, generational curses, some of us have it, and we can work through it. But poison, in his mind, oh, you couldn't work through. I'm just like, that's bullshit. It's just like, see how people like to use like a play on words to try to give themselves excuses, make excuses for themselves on why they aren't willing to commit to sustaining black family. I don't like that idea. I just don't like it. I feel like people are so committed to their jobs. He's been on his job. Motherfucker made it a career basically, right? Getting paid good money, and that's good. But I'm sure you put up with shit on your job that, come on. And sometimes people have worked in a job for so long, they don't even realize they're putting up with shit. You don't even realize you're swimming through poison because you're so used to it. You have become the poison of your fucking job. But why is it that, okay, you in a relationship with a woman, oh, it gets rough, it's poison, and you just want a divorce, you want out. That doesn't sit well with me when I come across men who have been married or got kids or whatever. So I bring that up, right? Because I just want to get an idea of how they think about the situation. Because how they think is going to let me know if it's worth my time. Because it's not going to be any different than me. I'm just a different woman. Yes, I'm a woman. And I have my own different, experiences and stuff like that in life. But it's going to play out the same way. Like, if you did not stay with a woman who carries your child for 9 months, yo, that's very special, right? For a woman to have your child, right? You didn't stay with her. Like, what make you think it's going to work out with me? And he was like, oh, well, in my mind, like, next time I get with a woman, like, it's going to be for life. But why wasn't it for life with the previous one? So that's what I mean when I say I love and respect women, because I just have a loyalty to women. And if anything, I would rather see him go, be with the mother of his child and work things out if it's possible. But granted, she probably already moved on. Who knows, right? But it's just like, that's just, my commitment is to the woman, to the feminine energy, right? And it's just like, come on. Because I couldn't imagine myself being a woman, giving birth to a man's child, and he doesn't commit to me, but he commits to somebody else that he thinks, oh, it's better, it's going to work out better. No, every relationship has problems, yo. Every fucking relationship has problems. It's just about men and women understanding the importance of that unity and knowing how to work through it. Conflict resolution. A lot of us, we don't have good conflict resolution skills, yo. Like, we bail out. And we look at relationships as one of the few things that we have control over and the ability to escape from. Because he goes to say, oh, well, people work poisonous jobs because they don't have any other options. They have, to work there and because they have to pay their bills. Nah, that ain't no excuse. Oh, people live in a poisonous country because they don't have anywhere else to go. Nah. So you saying that, oh, well, you have the ability to escape a so-called poisonous relationships and you just bail out. Because that's one of the things that you feel that you can escape. No, you can escape your job. You don't have to work that fucking job. You don't have to freaking live in a country that you know is toxic. Like, you don't have to do that. You choose to do that. So, and me challenging him, right? Because I like to do this, right? And I get it. Some men find it uncomfortable and it's just like, oh my gosh. But for him, I think what attracted me to him, I guess, is because he persisted, right? Like, he was willing to fight through it. But what turned me off, I think, was him trying to, because he didn't get it. He didn't get it. I think he felt like I was attacking him. He probably felt attacked. I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to dissect your thought process. And in me doing so, you felt attacked. And I think for him, he tried to turn the tables and trying to attack my perspective, right? And I'm just like, no, I stand in my belief system. The man is the head of the household. But I got turned off because I'm like, I'm not here to debate. And I think that's where sometimes men get it twisted. They think, oh, well, she just want to argue. No, I just want to see what your perspective is. And now that I have it, because I know how to get the truth out of a person, yo. I got him riled up, and he didn't even think that it was going to go that direction, yo. He had no idea. He didn't see it coming, but I pulled him into this freaking enactment where I needed to get him to show me who he was. And he did very clearly, very quickly, because I got to his emotion, right? I tapped into that emotion, and he showed himself to me. And I just didn't like what I saw. And that happens a lot. I just don't like the perspective that a man comes with. I just get turned off because I can't. That's not going to change. That's who you are. That's what you believe in, right? People's belief system is rooted. It's hardwired in who they are as a person, as a human being. And so when he began to challenge my perspective on a man being the head of the household and should take responsibility for a lot of what happens in a relationship, yes, and how the course of the direction of the relationship. But I don't think, see, men and women, like, we live in a society that has changed so much, changed dynamics between men and women so much that men don't even understand their power, right? They've lost a sense of their power in a relationship to a woman. And I'm communicating that to him. So instead of him wanting to argue, because I think he felt like on the defensive, like, okay, he wanted to argue. No, you should understand to see, because if you want to come into my role, yo, you hit me up. You express interest in me. You wrote this long ass freaking poetic fucking stanza on your interest in talking to me, right? So come into my world to see what I think. Now, if you find out just like I did that, okay, I'm not your cup of tea, then that's fine. We can go our separate ways. But I can tell, like, he didn't want to do that. He was still, like, he's still trying to explain himself and just to defend himself. I'm just like, yo, it's a waste of time. He kept freaking messaging me, like, back to back with voice messages, and I just had to block him. I just had to. Needs to be more gang initiations in relationships. That's a true test that most people will. Yeah, I give these dudes gang initiation. I felt like, yeah, you can pass that shit, yo, alright, we good. And that's the thing, they don't even understand. It's not even that bad of initiation. It's just like, if you can pass a few tests, it's like, yo, you got me, because I realized, okay, like, we cool. Like, we here. But we have to be here first, though, before my guard goes completely down. And, like, when it's down, yo, we cool. Like, I'm a down female. No guy really can ever get past that. When I say, like, what's mine is yours, yo. Like, I'm loyal. Yes, because I think that that's important. I understand the whole gang initiation, because it's really about loyalty. And people who value loyalty, such as myself, like, we will give you the world, literally, yo. We will fend for you. I'm that kind of person, yo. I got your back. You get what I'm saying? But you got to make sure when you enter in a relationship that the other person also has your back. I don't want to be the only loyal person in it, right? Because I know my extent of my loyalty. And that's the reason why I was questioning him about why did he leave, you know what I'm saying, his baby mama, his ex-wife, who he has the 6-year-old daughter with. Because that's concerning for me. It's just like, that goes to show, yo, your degree of, your extent to your loyalty is not that much. I'm loyal. I'm here. I don't care. I feel like, no, we're going to be together through whatever. Now, don't take it as a liberty for you to just be disrespectful. No, but I mean, like, tough times come up. Like, I'm willing to work through that shit, yo. Because that's just how I do shit in friendships. But a lot of people don't have that saying. They don't even know what loyalty is. You can't really teach loyalty. Either you got that shit, you passionate, or you not. You know, it's a rare commodity. But yeah, the idea of a man being head of household, I've talked about this in previous videos, where it's just men don't get it. I understand why. It's a lot of reasons why the black man doesn't feel like he even has the ability to lead. He has the ability to be able to call certain shots in a relationship. So he's okay for settling for the idea of 50-50, because he don't even have the resources, first of all. Like, yo, you got to be coming into it with certain resources to be able to talk a certain talk, walk a certain walk. They can't do that, right? And I'm around all different kinds of men. I live in the Upper East Side. Yo, this neighborhood, people got money, right? Being around people who have money, I'm talking about make no less than 6 figures. And that's really not that much money when you think about it, because it's all relative in terms of living in New York City. The cost of living is high as shit. But they do good for themselves in this neighborhood. And being around, yo, before I got this apartment I'm in now, I moved back to New York City last April of 2020. I was renting Airbnbs. I was wilding out, having fun. I was just like kind of exploring my options, trying to get a taste of different neighborhoods across New York. And I came across this Airbnb in Harlem. It was Spanish Harlem, which isn't too far from Upper East Side. That's actually how I found this apartment, because it's kind of in close proximity. And I like the Airbnb because I like the host was very welcoming. Now, the owner of the apartment, it was a man. I think he's Asian, right? Married to this what is her ethnicity? I think she's Jewish and Jewish. I want to say Dominican, but not Dominican. Jewish and Colombian, I think. She's Jewish and Colombian. Her baby daddy, who is the owner, I think he's like Asian or something like that, right? But he doesn't live there. And what really, like, it got my attention because I got to know them very well because I just like the hospitality. So I ended up, like, you know, extending my stay there because they were so welcoming and just so respectful. It's like the ambiance of the place. It was clean. It was nice, right? And so I got to know her very well. And when you talk to women of different ethnic backgrounds, like, you'll see, okay, we're kind of all the same in a way. Go through the same shit. Because she a baby mom. Like, she not with the father of her child. She has a very young son. But the difference, though, right? Because, of course, she's grew bitter, you know, as most women. What woman wouldn't grow bitter? You know what I'm saying? Like, she get pregnant, have your child, and you're not committed to that. Like, he's not going to be committed to being with her. Whatever the issue was, still. Right? So she was going through that. She had been going through that already. But the difference is that he took care of her, yo. Like, and I don't think she understood that. I said, yo, you're blessed. I had to let her know she's blessed. And I don't think she really felt that because she didn't feel love. So how can you feel blessed if you don't feel loved by a man? And she wears it. You can see that she doesn't kind of feel love. And when a person doesn't feel love, it's like sometimes they don't really love themselves, or they have to put in extra work. Kind of like it feels like work to love yourself sometimes when you don't feel love, right? And so he moved on though. He got a new girlfriend, and the new girlfriend is just like this. She's a ballet dancer, and you know, ballet is like an elitist thing in New York City, right? So she's like affiliated with like this like elitist ballet group. I'm not gonna name any names, but in New York City. And so like, of course, that makes like the baby mama, so to speak, feel a certain kind of way, like feel inferior about herself, like her worth, right? Like, I like think about it, put yourself in her shoes, like, yo, you have his child, right? And granted, yeah, he's taking care of her because the Airbnb, it's a 3-bedroom freaking apartment that he owns, right? But she lives there. And their agreement is that as long as, like, you know, she manages it, you know, cleans and stuff like that, she don't pay nothing. She pays nothing, right? He has a whole nother place somewhere else. I think like in Lower Manhattan. But still, it's just like looking at that situation, it just goes to show, even though he's not with her, now that's why I feel like he may drop the ball, but who knows? Who knows, right? Why? But it's just like at least he's willing to provide. And I think that's where a lot of black men, they drop the ball. They miss it, right? And it's because they don't have the resources. I get it. A lot don't have the resources. So they have this idea that a woman should pay 50-50, and it's just like y'all don't know how shit is really supposed to be done, because black men are behind, are way behind, are way down on the bottom when it comes to the totem pole of our society. So how can you know how things are supposed to be done when, you know, I get it, right? You're marginalized in our society. It's really fucked up. And that's just one example, but I see so many examples. It's just like of how shit really is supposed to be, how a man is really supposed to provide. The woman really not supposed to have to work. Only if she wants to, she chooses to, right? A woman can contribute because we make our own income. But it's a different reality for the family when a woman can dedicate her time, her attention to taking care of the child. And that's a whole job in and of itself, which people don't value. When a man has enough resources to bring into the household, that there's no question on how the bills are going to get paid, right? Because his salary alone is enough to provide, is more than enough, is an abundance of enough, right? where you can send a child to private school, like go to the best freaking school. Private school costs money. You know, the mother doesn't have to work. She stays home. She takes care of the child. She teaches the child. You know, it's just like, that's how shit really is supposed to be. And you see that a child has the best upbringing. She's able to breastfeed, able to spend that one-on-one time. There's less stress. There's less stress on the mother's back. Not to say, oh, okay, she's just stress-free. She doesn't have issues. Of course, like everybody does. It's human nature, but it's just a different reality, right? Like when you live in a certain socioeconomic status, right, bracket, around people, right, within this bracket, and you see what life looks like. And then, because of course I love Harlem. I'm black. I just feel like at home it's a different vibration when I go to Harlem, and I go down to Harlem, of course, where black people are, and it's different. You don't see that. Not to say you don't see men and women together, but it's just rare. Like, I see so many families, white men, women walking hand in hand, children. That's how shit's supposed to be. Then you go to Harlem, it's just like women walking with babies by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Where's a man? Just split households. Not to say there's not a man in the picture, you know, because he could be at work, but it's just saying we know what the truth is. We know what our reality is. And so yes, I do hold black men to a higher standard, because I know that they are capable, very well capable of doing what they are supposed to do and able to do. They're capable of doing it. I'm not selling for the whole 50-50 idea. That's letting men off the hook, I feel like. It's letting men off the hook, because it's just like, no, we're not roommates. A black man has the ability, to make whatever amount of money he wants to make. We got to get out of that thinking, We have been brainwashed. People who like to say, okay, well, there's racism, there's inequalities, and black men don't have access to the resources that white men have, so that's why white men bank accounts is swole and black man is just broke. And that's part of it, I feel like, but nah, you can't blame that shit, because why do you have black men who making money? It's hard. It's hard out here for anybody. You just got to think smart, and I feel like you can't use that as a crutch. Too many black men use that excuse as a crutch, and that's the reason why they don't have. And then, the black woman come into the black man's rescue, and I ain't even begin to talk about it. I titled this video Uplifting Black Sisters, because I also had another thought in my mind that is something that I saw yesterday on Instagram, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, thank you God I'm single. Because I can't be the black woman that's dealing with some of the stuff that black women just be willing to settle for. And I should make a separate video on like these different types of black women that get involved, that somehow find themselves sucked up into these toxic relationships with these men who just women get the short end of the stick, y'all. I can't. I'd rather be single. People think that shit is somehow always 50. That's not 50-50. If a woman is bearing a child, she's carrying a child for 9 months, she's left with the responsibility of taking care of that child. That's a job by itself. How is that 50-50 if she's also expected to go to work? That is not 50-50. That's a job by itself. They don't respect that as a job. Oh, she's supposed to do that. Are you kidding me? That's a job by itself. And I feel like if men only understood the importance of that period of time, it's very important that mother is at home with that child, not having to worry about a paycheck. They don't get that. It's crazy out. Yeah, it's crazy out there, Sharonda. That's something like, I can't, like, America, talking about, is a poisonous society, The socialization that's taking place in America, this whole MGTOW, so many movements happening. Feminism, obviously is toxic. MGTOW and men going their own way. And I ain't even going to mention that freaking black life coach name that got these men thinking a certain kind of way and just devaluing women. And got women thinking they should pay for the first date. Like, the whole hierarchy of how a relationship is supposed to go and the order of things has been turned upside down. And these men have false expectations, and they just do not have respect for the black woman. I can't. And when I begin to interact with these men on a dating site, just to get a sense of who they are, because I just throw things out there just to kind of test them to see how they respond. And I'm just like, nah, bro. I see, because of course they're gonna put on a facade, a persona of how they want to portray themselves. And I just want to, I break through that shit to see who they really are, to cut straight to the chase. I put it out there. I throw things out there, right, to see how they respond. Just like I gave you guys the example, and this guy just showed himself. It's just like, no, I'm not. I'm turned off. Because if you don't see that a man should be the head of the household and should guide the flow and the decisions that are made in the household. Not to say that he has complete control and the woman's just a slave. I think people misinterpret what I mean, but it's just like, come on, yo. How can these men, you got men that want to be leaders of society, want to build institutions for the black community. How can you want to be a leader, but you can't even lead a household? You want to lead a community. You want to build an institution. How can you do that if you don't know how to lead a household? To organize. It's just over me. But yeah. So yesterday I was on this live video. I followed this beautiful woman who, by the way, I had ordered some bracelets from her. And what else did I order from her? Bracelets and, the yoni steam, right? And I was on her live. She was on a live. She was on a live with her boyfriend, this guy that her and this guy hooked up. Yo, I'm just like, oh my gosh, they hooked up. You'll be surprised, like who hooked? Like, yo, y'all hooked up? Okay, and I thought, okay, it was beautiful, right? But just hearing like his mind, when you go into the mind of a lot of these so-called conscious men, it's so toxic. It's no different than the mainstream rappers. Like you hear like the toxicity in the rap and how they degrade women, and you go into the mind of a lot of these so-called conscious brothers you see on Instagram, it's no different. You see women the same way. They're degrading women. So he and this girl, they were like on there, and I look at her as a queen. Yo, she has like the way she carries herself. It's just like she's a queen. But it's sad, like when a queen is like she called herself falling in love with this guy, this other want to be conscious man, and it's like her value just dropped. I'm looking at the video and just seeing how her value dropped because how she's allowing him to speak to her and treat her, right? He got this thing like, oh, he want to fuck. A lot of men want to fuck, right? Oh, I'm horny, I just want to fuck. And people have different sex drive. So she has a lower sex drive, and he's wanting to have sex like multiple times a day. And for him to even have this discussion like on this live, it's just like, why? Everything is not meant for public consumption, yo. That's just to me disrespectful to me having that. And I think she sensed that it was becoming disrespectful for him to even mention that, like, right? That's kind of an embarrassment. And so she was like, yo, I'm about to leave. In the live, right, she's kind of about to stand up. He was like, oh no, you ain't going nowhere, sit down. And I could tell she was bothered by that, and he insisted that she stay. He was like, all right, if you get up, I'm gonna flatten your tires. And she kind of laughed it off. He was like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, you don't know me, but I'm crazy. I'll flatten your tires. And I'm just like, yo, I understand people like to joke. That shit is not joking. That's how freaking abuse happens and disrespect happens in relationships. They get passed off as, oh, I'm just joking or I'm just playing. Yo, that's just being disrespectful. I'm just like, and yo, you can tell he was serious. And for him, because she asked him, she popped the question. She was like, oh, well, you know, you want me to stay by your side and be committed, then you got to put a ring on it. You know, you got to marry me and stuff like that. What women don't want to be married, right? He was like, oh, no, I ain't doing that. Because in the conscious community, men got this belief that, oh, if you go and get married, it's like subscribing to this whole system of white supremacy. You're partaking in their system by going to the court and asking for their permission, so to speak, by getting a marriage license. It's like asking for the white man's permission to be married as black man and black woman. That's how they rationalize it. So they say, oh, they don't want to get married. And I don't want women to be misled, because that's some bullshit, right? Now, I get that. One, you can agree. It's different ways you can look at this topic. So one can agree with that notion and say, all right, well, that's kind of, he kind of got a point, right? But then if you are an entrepreneur, you're getting a business license. How is that different? You're getting a business license as a black entrepreneur. You're partaking in their so-called system. So how is that any different than getting a marriage license? The issue is, and I listen, I be following a lot of these MGTOW, secretly following, because I like to get in their minds to see, okay, what the fuck they got going on? What is they doing? What is this narrative, this philosophy that they are developing, they're promoting? So sometimes it's good to step foot in the enemy's territory, sometimes to see what the hell they be thinking. I be on their pages sometime listening, and I was on one yesterday, and this motherfucking black man talking about, he definitely MGTOW. He's very successful. Like, he is very successful, got a lot of money and shit like that. Single now. It kind of makes you wonder, like, when you come across a black man, you got all these resources, financial and social resources, yet you ain't got no woman. They be MGTOW. And so he was having a discussion on his page. This guy talking about, he gonna tell his followers, telling men, because mostly men follow him. It's like, oh, yeah, you don't want to marry the women, and because if you marry the woman, and somebody, you don't want to sign the birth certificate either, saying if you sign the birth certificate, like, that's just a way for the government to track you. Right? And especially when it comes to child support. Somehow you don't want to sign a birth certificate. Because if you don't fucking pay child support, you can't even travel. And that's going to affect a lot of things that they trying to do, especially if they do international trade or business or whatever. So he's saying to protect their assets, right? To protect the black man's assets, don't sign the marriage certificate. Don't sign the birth certificate. And when you create a business, create it in a different name that is not attached to your name, so that child support doesn't know. I'm just like, who thinks like this? That is not nation building thinking. That is not family oriented thinking. That's some selfish ass thinking. And when a man could say, oh, I'm just doing it to protect myself because these women out here, they're vindictive. It's a war between a black man and a black woman. Yes, indeed, there is a war. But are you going to participate in that war, or are you going to open your eyes to see what their agenda is? Because these black men want to proclaim they're so conscious, but if you were really conscious, you would zoom out to see what the bigger picture is, to see that you are also being used as a pawn. Because they want to point fingers at the woman and say, oh, the system is using the woman as a pawn to put the black man on child support to fuck his whole life up. But you're also participating in that system by finding your own ways to not want to come together, to work together, man and woman, to build together. Like, as if you have to protect your assets. You got to protect your, like, what kind of shit is that? So the black woman is your enemy? Like, no, to me, it makes no sense. I don't agree with that. And going back to that video that I saw yesterday with, this couple, I'm just like, he was like outright disrespecting her, and he was just so hypersexualized, like, just kept talking about, oh yeah, I just want a woman, and that she gotta be willing to fuck me, whenever I want. And I commented and said that, a woman's vagina is not an object that she just gives to a man whenever he wants. And he reads it and he got upset or whatever, but she understood. So I'm just like, if she's agreeing with me, he gets upset, there's clearly a divide. Their relationship is not going to work. It's clear. They may have been drawn together because they both have certain ideologies they believe in, that they share, certain things that are passionate about when it comes to Black consciousness. But if the basic principles of respect aren't there, that shit is not going to work. I clearly see that's not going to work. Yo, she is a queen. She is a self-respecting, respectable queen, Black woman. And he just a nigga. I hate to say. He's smart, don't get me wrong. He's very smart. He's good with mathematics and all of that. Conscious mathematics and all that. He's good with that. I give him that, his credit. But his mindset is he's just disrespectful. Right. Third world thinking. It's just, I just feel like they want to call it modern day thinking, like the modern day woman, but that doesn't, just because things are modern day doesn't make it better. Sometimes it's better to go back to how things were done, because it's a reason why it started out that way. So let's not get it mistaken to think that, just because things are modern day or first world, that it's better, because nah. People, it's an illusion. People have no idea what the American dream is. It's an illusion, yo. I wrote a book called American Dreamer, my autobiography. A lot of y'all think it to be one thing because it's called American Dreamer, but y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea what's in that book. Y'all have no idea, y'all. I'm going to release. That's why it's taking so long for me to release it, because it's very political. It's controversial. It's controversial. I titled American Dreamer for a reason, to appeal to a greater audience, but I have no idea. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. People are misguided. And I know I'm going to end this video, but it's just sad, yo. Black women got to wake up. Black women, come on. It's sad that the Black women have to be single in order to keep her value. Why is it that when a Black woman gets with a Black man, her value decreases? Her value should not decrease being with a Black man. It should increase. Her self-worth should increase. Her self-esteem. Granted, they say, it's self-esteem, so it should come from within. But external forces can lower a person's self-esteem, unfortunately. And I can see her self-esteem being lowered, yo. Because if if he's objectifying her and making her feel like she needs to have sex with him, and that's her only contribution to a relationship, because he's saying like, any woman be with me, gotta give it up. And because she doesn't feel like she want to have sex with him and every time, and that has to be the main focus of their relationship, he's talking about the idea of other women. Like, what she kind of want to do, another woman will kind of thinking. And it's just like, girl, you better leave his ass alone, because your value is going down. It's plummeting, yo. On that note, I will end this video. Like, sisters, like, it's just sad. A lot of us just don't know our worth. And of course, we desperate for a relationship. A lot of women are desperate. Want to be with someone. Just want to be loved. Willing to settle for anything. Fuck all that. Thank God I don't have that in my blood to just settle. I do want to enter in a relationship with the king. And I had to end my last comment to that dude. Yeah, I was in conversation on the date nap. I was like, listen, I only want to date kings. I don't want to date a man that submits to white supremacy or to Christianity, the white man's religion. You claim you're conscious. You ain't too conscious, because I seen on his fucking Facebook profile, I looked his ass up on social media. I'm just like, he's talking about Jesus this and he one of those Black men. Jesus this and God this and God Jesus that. And it's just like, the thinking is a little bit distorted, and I can see why. He moved the way he did, and why he moves the way he continues to move now. I'm just like, it ain't for me. I have them know you're not for me. But on that note, sisters, y'all listen, I'm not here to tell y'all what to do. Y'all gonna do what y'all do anyway. But take it from me. Know your worth. beautiful. You're strong. Yo, you're invaluable. There's no value. There's no price tag you can put on a black woman. If only you knew. These men want to try to make you seem like your worth is only just reduced to your vagina. Your come on. You're worth way more than that. It's bigger than that. Because they make it seem like, oh, well, y'all can be replaced because every woman got a pussy. Nah, you gotta love yourself. It starts from within, yo. You gotta love yourself. Know who you are. And listen, I'm already at the point where I'm just like, if my king don't come, if it ain't meant to be, it ain't meant to be. Because I feel like there's a season for everything. There's seasons for people to fall in love, to marry, to procreate. Maybe this just ain't the season for that. We in war right now. Maybe it ain't the season to be procreating, right? And to be building family, unfortunately. So maybe, hey, I've come to terms with that. Because I can't settle. I just can't. No, things got to be in order. Things got to be right. On that note, I'm going to end this video because I got to get back to work. My lunch break is now over, but I'll catch you guys later. On my profile, I say, yo, we got to get off this slave ship. Now, if a man don't understand what I mean by that, we got to get off this plantation, yo. If a man understand that, then we can talk. Catch y'all later.